I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my heart, changed my state of mind when love's so hard to find. Your feelings changed like the weather, went from clear to gray, all that night and day. How can I go on without falling apart? Love's so hard to find when someone's on your mind. Listen, baby, your wish is my command. Baby, won't you understand that your wish is my command? What can I do to make my baby understand?
Oh man, I wasn't expecting the amount of positive feedback you guys gave for the first video. We got subscribers, we got hundreds of views. Pretty much because you were required to watch it. But, you know, subscribers and views nonetheless. So, thank you so much for that. It really pushed me to make another video for you guys. And because of that, we are making another video. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sir, why not just make another video or a video for every lesson? Because it works out. It would make learning a lot more fun. Here's the thing. There are a lot of things that I actually need to do, like creating assessments for midterms, especially since hapit na. Well, at the time of recording anyway. Making a video usually takes like a week or two to get everything just right. It really requires a lot of effort in editing and time, and since time is of the essence, may kalaban na to, we don't really have a lot of that, so I really can't make a video for every lesson. But since it's U days and taas-taas tag time nga bakante, we have time to make a video for this one. Regardless, whenever I get a large amount of time for free, na wala ko'y kayo ginabuhat, I'll make a video for you guys for your lessons para learning will be fun and hopefully entertaining as well. But enough explaining! Let's get into the video. In the previous lesson, we learned how to identify your media and information sources, from libraries to indigenous media, you name it. Now, we are going to learn how to classify and to evaluate your media and information sources. Now, sir, what do you mean by that? Well, simply, we are being bombarded every single day with a ton of media and information. Therefore, it is crucial for us to learn how to evaluate and classify the media and information that we're getting every day. It is crucial for us to identify errors, evaluate the information sources, and, analyze the credibility of information. This is basically the application of information literacy that was discussed in prelims. Now, in order to do that, we need to classify. Look, man, it's my resource book. This is basically one of the books that I use for the lesson, so don't judge me. As I was saying, you need to learn how to classify your media and information sources. And basically, there are three classifications. First is primary, second is secondary, and third is tertiary sources.
Nagkabangga po yung truck sa katao. Ayun, nabangga po ng tao yung truck. Ay, yung nabangga po yung truck. Nakabangga po yung driver ng truck. Ng tao. Hindi po pala, dalawang truck lang ang nagkabangga, wala pong kasamang tao.
Now, in the context of research, primary sources are original materials on which other studies are based. Now, outside research, sila ang gigikanan sa imong information, where the information originated. So, if a reporter took the taong bumangga sa truck seriously, for some odd reason, makonsider nimo tong tao as a primary source of information since naaman siya sa event. He witnessed the event as it was going down. Now, in the assessment, there is a PDF file below the link to this video. It is a list of all the classifications of media and information sources that fall under primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. Obviously, we cannot list all of them here in the video, or else it will be a million minutes long. So be sure to check it out and study it, because it will surely come up in the future exams and quizzes. But to give you an example of what primary sources are, examples of primary sources are diaries, interviews, letters, photographs, research data, etc. Basically, bisag unsa nga information nga wala pag i-process, wala pag i-evaluate, wala pag ihimong graph, kung graphical information ba na siya, unprocessed raw information from your sources, those sources are considered to be primary sources.
Iaigan bukas ng umaga ipagpapatuloy ng pinagsanib na pwersa ng NBI, CIDG at PNP Cavite ang kanilang investigasyon at retrieval operations. Live na rito sa... Ako si Michael Wadin yung saksi.
What the fuck?
God, I love the Michael Fahatin memes, bro. They're classic. Now, secondary sources are pretty much what happens when you take the information you got from primary sources and then you decide to interpret it and then publish it for the world to see. Secondary sources are simply redefined primary sources. As I mentioned earlier, they are interpretations and evaluations of information coming from primary sources, but they are not considered to be evidence, meaning you cannot use secondary sources as a means to back up your statement or your claim. To give you an idea as to what that means, let's say you're writing an essay on the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic here in the Philippines. To support your statements, you don't usually write there, based on a report from GMA News, the DOH announced that the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, blah blah blah. No, you don't write that. What you do instead is you cite the primary source, which in this case is DOH. You write there, DOH Undersecretary blah 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 this and that has announced that we already are going through the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic. You cite the primary source, not the secondary source. You also do cite the actual data that came from the primary source, not the interpretation of the data from the secondary source, if you know what I mean. Now, when you're finished with your essay and you decide to publish it online or submit it to your instructor, that essay now, and you as an author, is considered to be a secondary source, because you took information from the primary source and then you interpreted it and you evaluated it and you also published it. When other people read the essay, they're reading from a secondary source, not directly from DOH. Now, some examples of secondary sources are essays, commentaries, criticisms, newspaper articles, TV and radio broadcasts, and so on. Tertiary sources. Yeah, there's no meaning, because you really can't make encyclopedias, almanacs, dictionaries, atlases, thesauruses, and dictionaries. I know I said dictionaries twice, but you cannot make them funny. Can you? Can you? That's pretty much what tertiary sources are. They're a collection of information from secondary sources. They pretty much do what secondary sources do with the information they get from primary sources, only this time, tertiary sources do it to secondary sources. What this means is that they get the data and information from secondary sources and they collect it all together into one big collection of information. That's why encyclopedias, almanacs, dictionaries have a lot of things inside. It's not just purely about one specific topic. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are the three classifications of media and information. For the second half of the video, we are going to learn how to evaluate your media and information sources. Now, this is a little bit tricky, but basically you'll learn whether your information is credible, accurate, and straight up legit. Okay, the first thing you need to do is to make sure that your sources are up to date, especially when you're doing research. Advances in media, technology, and information happen every day. And kung outdated na ka sa info, usually dili naman guna ma-consider or ma-acknowledge as legit because it's outdated, you know? We have more recent information available. It's pretty much self-explanatory. You need to keep your information up to date. Murag software install or updates sa imong computer that always stays there. Pag imo na siyang i-try og palong imong laptop, makalagot kayo.
This comes up on my computer every single day, automatically. Your PC needs to restart to finish installing important updates every single day. And every single day, I click later. You know why I click later? Because there's no option to click never. I like to click never. I never want to install these bullshit, meaningless, superfluous. I hate them! I hate these stupid updates!
Meanwhile,
Second is authority. In evaluating your information, you need to make sure that your information and media sources come from a credible and recognizable authority. Basically, individuals or organizations that establish themselves as a credible and reputable information source, like the World Health Organization, University of the Philippines, GMA, ABS-CBN, CNN, the like. Third is audience. Basically, when you're assessing the audience of a certain media or information that you're consuming, you need to ask yourself, who is this media or information appealing to? What is the purpose? Who is the media or information targeted towards? You need to remember these two words: target audience. This is basically one of the problems people have when it comes to media and information. They don't know who the target audience is for any type of media. When people consume media, they automatically assume that every single piece of media and information is targeted towards everyone. And that's not true. Because certain types of media and information are directed towards those people who have interests or basically would consider these media and information as credible, as time-worthy, or simply those who support the media and information. Best example of this scenario is K-pop and Mobile Legends for video games. Two very different types of media coming from two incredibly large communities. K-pop belonging to the music industry and the music community, while Mobile Legends belonging to the gaming community. A lot of people criticize other people who support K-pop and listen to it religiously, saying di daw masabtan ng lyrics niya, manghilak-hilak daw and whatnot. They don't understand the appeal. Same thing goes for Mobile Legends. There are a lot of gamers in the gaming community who do not consider Mobile Legends players as true gamers.
Unti nang nababawas yung mga sa Dota kasi nahihirapan na sila. Maraming mas gusto na lang sa easy. Kunyari, Mobile Legends. Dami nag-Mobile Legends.
Grabe ka, Tim, si issue ka ha. Tinatrash talk mo yung Mobile Legends ha.
Legit naman Ikukumpara mo Mobile Legends sa Dota, sobrang layo. Paano mo tatawagin? Gamer ba tawag nila sa mga nag-Mobile Legends? Hindi ko sila tatawagin gamer.
Now, for those people who are like these or think like this, first of all, dili man gud kamo ang target audience ana nga media. There are certain type of people who love playing ML and those K-pop stans who love supporting their favorite K-pop idols and boy bands. Dili man gud kamo ang target audience. So more often than not, you wouldn't really understand the appeal of these types of media, unlike those who support it fully. And since dili man gud kamo ang target audience, those people in charge of creating K-pop songs and the devs behind Mobile Legends would certainly not appeal towards you who wouldn't really support their media. They would appeal towards the people who support them. And since these types of media weren't designed or made to suit your tastes, naturally you wouldn't understand what made these types of media appealing. Now, I must admit, I don't listen to K-pop at all, and played ML for like a couple months and then I stopped because it really wasn't for me. I'm more of a Dota 2 player, and I listen to a lot of nostalgic songs coming from the early 2010s, and then my favorite genre, the R&B, which is 2000s R&B. I listen to those songs pretty much every day. But I do understand that not a lot of people appreciate or understand the 2000s R&B genre, and a lot of people also don't play Dota 2 and wouldn't understand what's appealing to it. Bottom line is, if you don't understand what the appeal is between a certain type of media or information, you need to analyze and understand who the target audience is. Is it for me? If it isn't, then most probably it's for them. And if it isn't, maybe I'll find a certain type of media or information that is suited for me, is targeted for me. And please, let us not throw shade or trash talk anyone who supports any type of media. Kay ila man ang trip, ila man ang kalipay, no? So hopefully, let's just support each other. We can surely give criticisms every now and again, but it would be nice if the criticisms are constructive or helpful in any way. Number 4, who is the publisher? More often than not, you see media and information being posted online, giving links to the primary source nga ilahang gikuhaan og information. And since na may link, some people would think that it's fine. I'll just go ahead and believe you, whatever you say here on the article, because there's an evidence right there. I mean, you gotta admit, you've done this at least once in your life. And if you're still doing it, I suggest you start changing your habits. This is because you need to be more vigilant when it comes to things like this. You need to understand that there are a lot of fake websites and fake articles online. And what's worse is daghan og mga pare-pareho ra bitaw gitsura ng mga websites. So when they link something right below it, and then it appears to be quite similar to what you're accustomed to, then murag mas dali siya tuuhan. Daghang peke nga websites karon nga pare-pareha ra og link og itsura sa legit nga websites. That's why you need to check the publisher. If legit bagid na nga gikan sa usa ka well-known news source. So what I suggest you do, if you see a link in any article being posted and you're a bit suspicious or doubtful kung legit ba ang information nga naa sa imong tubangan, I suggest you just manually search it na lang yun. You manually search the information on the internet and then see if the information checks out. Kung pareho ra ba og information ang nakita nimo sa legit nga source and katong link nga gipost sa article online. Okay, so this is a really quick demonstration of what we just discussed. No, so here we are on Facebook, where we will be spending the rest of, well, not the rest of our times, but a lot of our time on social media. And then we see an article saying that the famous singer Rick Astley was found dead at age 54. And then to me, since I've already applied the things you've discussed, to me, I really think this is very suspicious. So what I do is I'll go to Google and then search it, Rick Astley dead, right? Let's say, for example, there. Okay, so I think this is the information that was posted on Facebook. There isn't really anything that says Rick Astley is actually dead. As at least as what I could find. Okay, so let's try going into the article, because it says here it's a non-meme, and then what happens when we go there is I'll decline. This is what I've been telling you guys. Digid mo basta-basta mag-believe, because the publisher of this website is just trolling you. See? There's really nothing here. It's just a meme. It's a rickroll. So, yeah, don't fall for this, okay? This is just a very blatant example. Some examples or some scenarios you will find in the internet would be a lot more or a lot worse So be very vigilant. Number 5, we got bias. We all have biases. Even the media has biases. And a lot of people are saying that the media should be impartial. Dapat walang kinikilingan, walang pinoprotektahan. You know that catchphrase that everyone is saying. Well, GMA is saying. But as we have seen, that is not always the case. Now, what you can do as a receiver of the media and information that is being posted online, being shown on TV, and being broadcasted on radio is that see if the content that is being used in the article or the language that is being used is free of emotion. Kung wala ba'y over dramatization sa news nga gina-present. Basically, a person who can read well in between the lines of any news article that is being broadcasted on the TV, on radio, or being read online, makasabot man ka if naay bias towards any certain kind of camp, no? Now, what's not healthy is when ang bias sa mga organizations mag-exhibit na bitaw sila extreme bias towards one side or another. What happens then is they tend to misinterpret information that leans towards their favorite candidate or favorite company or whatever, resulting into less than effective sources of media and information. What happens then is they try to twist the information that favors their biased personalities or company, resulting in misinformation basically. This is very important, guys, especially karon. Keep that in mind. Number 6 is the design of your media and information source. With the advent of better website design tools, technology, if you want to be seen and considered as a credible source of media and information, you need to have a professional looking website. You gotta check out if the website is shady looking. There's something different or something off on a website. You can really understand and take a look kung naay something off on a website. So if there is something off with the website and the information that is being presented, you should consider looking for other media and information sources. This one is a bit related sa publisher evaluation criteria, as looking at the design of the publishing website of the information helps you determine kung legit ba or dili ang website nga imong gituan, and in turn kung legit ba or dili ang information nga nakuha nimo. Now, one clue I can give you is the advertisements that is being posted on the website. It's a huge clue. See if related ba ang mga ads nga makita nimo sa website. I can assure you with 100% certainty kung naay Titan Gel nga advertisement sa website nga imo ang giadtuan nga media and information source, that's not legit. Finally, we have accuracy. You just need to consider whether is the data accurate, is the information accurate, does it match with other information sources or media sources that publish the same news, is the interpretation of the quotation from a famous person accurate. Because I think you've noticed this before. Some people who give like speeches or proclamations, they say the same things pero lain ang pagsabot sa usa ka news company compared sa another. So what you can do is you can just look at it side by side and then consider all the types of the criteria that I mentioned earlier. The target audience, the biases, make sure the publisher is correct, make sure the design is not shady. It's pretty much self-explanatory too. No need for further explanation on this part. And that'll be it for today's video, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot again today, and see you on the next video. Kung kano siya ka makabuhat ng video again, I honestly do not know. But if I release a video, rest assured I'll do my best to make it as entertaining and as informative as always. So stay safe, and remember, one like for this video is equal to one crushback.
I can hear talking about the cane. Everything without me ain't the fucking same. Got the shit up on a higher plane. It's private and the pilot know my name.